Welcome to a brand new edition of HBCU Sports Live, where when we're live, we talk about HBCU sports, where anything can happen at the drop of a blink of an eye. And let me just go ahead and put it out there right now, because I don't want anybody to accuse me of being a liar, but I just want you to know that Coach Broderick Fobbs was scheduled to appear on this episode. And unfortunately, something came up and he has indicated that he is going to have to reschedule. So I apologize for that. Believe me, I was just as excited as many of you were about him coming on, because we were going to talk about some things. And so he will not be able to make it, but hopefully you'll stick around. And we still got a lot of things to talk about. We are going to talk about the upcoming SWAC Championship Game between Jackson State and Prairie View. We're going to recap the Bayou Classic. Okay. We're going to recap the Bayou Classic.
Come on, say it with some more enthusiasm.
We're going to recap the Bayou Classic. That's about as enthusiastic as I can get, given all of the stuff that I talked prior to. Losing to a 1-10 Southern team. But anyway, that's not what we're going to talk about right now. All right. So real quick, before we get in the show, there are a couple of things that we need to just make you guys aware of. My man, Chris Stevens, has a podcast, and it's called On the Groove Line. Mm-hmm. And when I tell you it's good, and I'm not just telling you this because he's a colleague and a brother who is well respected. I'm telling you, his show was really good. And it's gotten so good to where now, you know, he's interviewing R&B superstars like it ain't nothing, you know. And I'm getting a little scared because he may say, Ken, it's been great. But Negro, you are beneath me. And
let's not go that far. I will say that this is my passion project, and I'm very excited. And Monday, my special guest will be Bernard Jackson of the group Surface. You know, only you can make me that Surface. We had a great conversation earlier today. That episode will drop on Monday, and you can go to subscribe to On the Groove Line by clicking this wonderful link right here. It is a YouTube channel, so it's free. You can subscribe. I've had other guests like Michael Cooper of Confunction, Keith Kilgo of the Blackbirds, and I talk about old school music all day long on that channel. So if you guys want to go ahead and give me a sub, we're closing in on 500. Would greatly appreciate you.
Hey Ken, help me out here. Is that Chris Stevens or Donnie Simpson?
I wish, Lord, if I ever get to be as big as Donnie Simpson, man. From your lips to God's ears, I will take that.
Yeah, so I'm telling you guys now, if you don't go to see anything else, though, at least go see the one that he did about Smokey Robinson. If it's nothing more than just going to that video and listening to the first 10 to 15 seconds, I'm telling you. Because when he said that, my wife was with me. And she's like, did Chris just say what? I'm like, he said that anyway.
Hey, y'all. I mean, it's a music education show, but we have fun over there too. Trust and believe. So, if you guys want to give me a sub, I greatly appreciate it.
We also would like you to know this edition of HBCU Sports Live is brought to you by my book, HBCU Sports 101, a guide to understanding Black college athletics. Look. This is the perfect stocking stuffer. It really is. If you know someone who is a HBCU enthusiast, maybe a student who's considering an HBCU, or maybe you don't know anything about HBCUs and you just want to kind of get a basic understanding of Black college athletics. This is the guide. This is the ultimate guide. And if you go, look, it's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all other places where books are sold. But if you like a signed autograph copy for the exact same price, and I don't know how long I'm going to be able to do that, you can get yours at kenrashad.com. Yours truly will sell it. You see, I got them books back there. They got to go. They got to go. And I will sign it. And I'm telling you, it's a great stocking stuffer. So go to kenrashad.com, get your copy of HBCU Sports 101, A Guide to Understanding Black College Athletics. And, it'll be there for you to pass on generations. Because, look, this is history. It's not going to change. They're trying to change it. They're trying to remove it. But believe me, this ain't going anywhere. All right. And then also, I've got 2 podcasts. I'm big in entrepreneurship and all this other stuff. And so at the Ken Rashad YouTube channel, you can go to kenrashad.com and you can watch episodes of the Ken Rashad Show where we talk about entrepreneurship, personal branding, lifestyle, and things of that nature. And we also take the time to interview and profile entrepreneurs of color who are doing tremendous things in the communities that they serve. I'm like literally interviewing millionaires, man. I just interviewed a sister who is a content creator, and she turned and became an attorney. And then she began to realize how all of these other content creators were kind of getting screwed through brand deals. And guess what, man? That sister went and founded an app, and now she's about to get her first round of funding coming up. I'm just like, what? And I think she's like 32. So I'm just saying. And then we got HBCU Titans, where we take HBCU graduates, man, who are doing tremendous things. I just finished an interview, and that's going to be released probably next week. Carlisha Brown, a former chief product officer for brands such as Zulily, Bed Bath and Beyond. She's been an executive at IBM, and oh my goodness. And now she's gone out and started a whole new consulting firm. And, she deals with people who are, looking for seeding, like the 10 and $50 million range. And I'm just like, what? So anyway, go to Ken Rashad, go to the on YouTube, the Ken Rashad channel, and subscribe. I'm telling you, man, we'll learn some things, man. We're doing great things. These HBCU graduates, I'm telling you, it's just a beautiful thing. Okay. With that said, there have been some coaching changes out there, right? Mm-hmm. And someone asked the question, and I'm telling you now, where is it? I think it's someone. Oh yeah, is Grambling extending Mickey Joseph's contract? We will get into that. Stay tuned. We'll talk about it. But Winston-Salem State is getting a new head coach, and Torrey Woodbury, former was it New York Jets, played wide receiver and running back, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and special teams. And
I don't has it been officially announced, or they're going to, or what?
It's not official, but he's posting it on all of his social media that it's official. So it's straight from his feed. I imagine it's the real deal.
No, it's official. They announced that the press conference will be just on Monday at 1:15. So it's official.
All right.
Okay. What are your thoughts? What are you guys' thoughts about this hire?
Well, I know Coach Woodbury because he coached at Delaware State, and I got to talk.
He sure did. Yep.
He was a running back coach when Kermit Blunt was there, because he followed Coach Blunt in the coaching after his playing days were done. Wherever Kermit Blunt went, Torrey Woodbury went, and then he went on to make a name for himself as a college scout and a special teams coach for the Rams when they won the Super Bowl. So I think for just what Torrey Woodbury's credentials are alone, this is a great hire for Winston-Salem State. But the fact that he is a son of the university, Athletics Hall of Famer, led them to back-to-back CIAA championships in 99 and 2000, was all CIAA quarterback both years. Mm-hmm. I think this is probably the best hire that Winston-Salem State could have made under these circumstances. Like, this is a dude who's literally coming home, wants to come home, is ready to, restore order, to Winston-Salem State football. So I think this is a great hire. I mean, we talked about, we've bemoaned how celebrity hires have sort of, become the thing, but you could still get pro experience, in a head football coach. And Torrey Woodbury is proof of that because he came from the Division II ranks and played in the NFL for a few years. And for him to, be able to come back home to his alma mater probably means so much to him, probably means so much to that community. So I imagine that Winston-Salem State is going to be back competing in the CIAA in short order.
Jared, what are your thoughts?
What do I think about Winston-Salem State hiring a program legend who played in the NFL and coached in 2 Super Bowls and won one with the Los Angeles Rams and has been on multiple coaching staffs in college already? I don't like it. It's a great hire. I fully expect Winston-Salem State to be back contending within 2 or 3 years. I think this is about as great as hire as they can get. There were faint talks about, potentially getting back what's his face from
Terrence Graves?
No, from their former coach that got them to the national championship game that went to Alabama A&M. What's his name again? I forgot.
Oh, wow. Have we forgotten about Connell Maynard that quickly?
I forgot his name. I swear I forgot his name for a second. There was faint talks about getting him back. But this is just as good, if not better than that. Somebody who is familiar with the program, someone who has had success at multiple levels, not only coaching, but as a player. I don't think it gets any better than this, and I think that I fully expect them to hit the ground running. They're going to get some guys that from the portal. I fully expect them to go through. I feel like they're more going to be through the high school ranks, but him being at Norfolk State, I imagine some guys who aren't getting opportunities there are going to follow him there if he created that, that relationship with them, but I think this is a great hire.
I wonder where WSSU Ram Nation is when you need them.
Right.
I would love to know what his response is to this and what his opinions are about this hire. So let me ask,
in the sky, letting everybody know they're about to be contenders.
Oh, okay. So that I was actually about to ask that. Now, given his background, given the dynamics of everything involved, how long should WSSU folks, Winston-Salem fans and alumni, how much time should they give Torrey Woodbury? Do they have the type of expectations that will make them want to be a contender overnight?
I don't know if they have those level of expectation, but I'll say this: him being a son of the university should buy him at least 3 years, if that much.
Because at least 3 years.
Yeah, because Rod Milstead got 4 at Delaware State, and he had that team contending. But I think they panicked. I mean, it doesn't matter now because, of course, Coach Jack has led this team to his best record in 18 years. But they panicked when they fired Rod Milstead, and they knew they panicked because they hired Lee Hall and realized that was not a smart move. So they had to go out and, course correct in a dramatic fashion. Winston-Salem State does not need to course correct in a dramatic fashion. They got the guy they wanted. He has the credentials. He's a proud alumnus. And I think that, 3 to 4 years is fair because I think they will be contenders. I mean, 2026 is, the year you start cycling kids out. But I think 2027, it's reasonable to expect that this team should be near, the title game chase.
Okay. Speaking of contenders and contending, Albany State is on a historic run. And they've, unfortunately, it was unfortunate. It was at the expense of Benedict, another HBCU, because we were literally celebrating at the start of the playoffs how there were 5 HBCUs in the Division II playoffs, and now we're down to 1. What are we to make of the matchup? Albany State, who are they playing? Is it Newberry?
Newberry, yeah.
What are we to make of the matchup, Jared?
So Newberry, for those who aren't familiar, they are 11-1 on the season. We're 9-1 in the regular season. In the first round, they actually beat one of the 5 HBCUs that were in the D2 tournament, Kentucky State, in the first round, and then took down West Florida in the second round to make it to this point. Newberry is not unfamiliar to facing HBCUs in the Division II playoffs. As a matter of fact, the last 2 times they made it to the Division II playoffs, they were eliminated by HBCUs. In 2016, they were eliminated by Tuskegee. And in 2021, they were eliminated by the school in Maryland that has a bulldog as their mascot. You know, I forgot the name of them, you know, but yeah, they were eliminated by those schools. So Bowie State, for those who don't know, is my alma mater. But anyway, yeah, so Newberry has a very strong pass offense. They have a quarterback in Reed Shapira, who is a finalist for the Harlan Hill Trophy. He's going to lose to Curtis Allen in that voting. But anyway, you know, he is a guy who has over 3,000 yards this season, 28 touchdowns to only 4 interceptions. But 3 of those 4 interceptions have come in their 2 playoff games. So one of the keys is going to be stopping that pass offense of Newberry. They've averaged over 300 passing yards per game in their past, I believe, 4 games. So they are a high big play offense type of unit, you know. So Albany State's defense has been very good in these playoffs. You know, they have battled through adversity over their last 3 games, particularly in the last game against Benedict. They faced a short field 4 times in that game and only gave up 2 field goals. So Albany State has shown that they can be that rough and rugged team that wins ugly. And they've shown that they could be a high-powered offense that wins in a shootout, you know. But the biggest key is going to be, you know, stopping that pass offense, one, taking care of the ball as well. They have been turnover heavy in the past couple of games, and that's in part of why they faced short field a couple of times. And this Newberry defense has been stingy. They have 5 interceptions in their 2 playoff games so far, and has had an interception in each of their last 6 games. So Isaiah Knowles has to play a clean game. You have to dominate time of possession, and you have to move the chains. You cannot afford to give this high-powered offense a short field. If they give them a short field, I'm not sure that they're able to make up for the difference like they did against Benedict. Also, the run game has to be there. The last game against Benedict, they only averaged 2 yards per carry on 45 attempts. That cannot happen in this one. Tyant White, I talked about it on yesterday on my podcast. But the run game was incohesive because the substitution methods were off, and I didn't like the substitution methods that Quinn Gray did with putting in Roderick McCrary and then putting in Tyant White and not letting either guy build a rhythm. You know, you have to get one guy in the lineup and stick with him, allow him to get that rhythm so that the offense can flow. I don't think it works where you're putting in 2 backs, one back one series and another back another series. I think so. The 3 keys for me are stop the Newberry pass offense, take care of the ball and move the chains, and get the run game going. If Albany State does that, they have a great chance of winning this game.
So let me ask you, Jared, and I don't want to, I don't want to straddle the fence here, but given where Albany State is right now, it's a quarterfinal, right? This is a quarterfinal matchup. I know what it says. Should they win this game? And I think it's safe that we all want them to win. At least the people within this group.
Right.
Does it say anything about Albany State in the event they don't win this game?
No, this is a historic season for Albany State, and this is an Albany State team that has reached heights that no SIAC team has reached in nearly 10 years. So I think it's going to be disappointing for them because they feel like they have the team that has the best chance of winning a national championship. And if I'm not mistaken, Isaiah Knowles is either in his last year or only has 1 year left. So, and a bunch of guys in this unit are not going to be there next year. So, of course, it's going to hurt that you're not going to be able to run it back with the guys that got you there. But I don't think they would have anything to be ashamed of if they bow out in this round. But I think they have a great opportunity to win this game. I think these two teams are evenly meshed, but the key for Albany State is they cannot play like they have been playing in their past couple of games. They have gotten by in these past couple of games, but they have not put together a complete game. Arguably an important complete game since the first Benedict game. Of course, they played great against Fort Valley State, but that game didn't matter. The last time they played a great game that really mattered was the first time they played Benedict. If they don't play like they played against Benedict, or they play like they played last time they played Benedict, I don't know that Albany State gets to the next round. But I think that Quinn Gray is going to get these guys ready, and they're going to be ready to play, and they host the game, so that's a plus for them. So I think there's a great chance that they come out victorious in this one.
Any last comments, Chris, about this before we move on?
I'm with Jared. I mean, there's nothing to be ashamed of if they fall short, but they do have a good chance to win this game. And of course, we're all going to be rooting for them. And, Jared said, with respect to, players graduating different things, the coach might not be there next year either, too.
How did I know that was coming up?
I'm just saying, I mean, there's a school that, he's very familiar with about a couple hours down the road that could be, opening up. So, but yeah.
What state is that? What state is that school in by chance?
I believe it's Florida. I believe they brag different down there. But yeah, all kidding aside, this is a great season from Albany State. Safe to say we're proud of them, and we are very much looking forward to seeing them beat Newberry on Saturday. Newberry, South Carolina. I knew somebody from Newberry, South Carolina once. Good memories sometimes, not so much. But that's beside the point. Yeah, go Albany State is what I'm trying to say.
All right. So before we move on, I want to make this perfectly clear for those of you, because look, we were pretty confident that this was going to happen. And then, of course, Kendrick took it a step further and promoted it, which we appreciated. But I'm telling you guys now, for those of you who are on, we did have Broderick Fobbs scheduled to appear to talk to us about a couple of things. And unfortunately, at the last minute, something came up and he is going to have to reschedule. We will reschedule. Don't know when that'll be, but believe me, we will do what we can to get him back on, because I know a lot of you were actually looking forward to that. Right. So with that said, we got to get to a topic that I guess we have to discuss.
Oh man.
As you guys know, the 2025 iteration of the Bayou Classic is always interesting. It's always interesting. And I know you're saying, rivalry games are always interesting, but this one was like really, really, really interesting for the simple fact that these were two schools. And this is why I put this graphic up. They were going in completely two totally different directions. Before the game, one was on Interstate 7-4, and the other one was on Interstate 1-10. And I even think it's safe to say that even the Southern folks figured we getting our ass beat this weekend going into this game. I just knew. I'm like, this is anticlimactic. This is strictly for bragging rights. Strictly for bragging rights. There's nothing to play for. There's no SWAC Championship Game on the line. This is just, for a lot of those players, the last who were seniors and who had run out of eligibility, this is your last game of your career, at least at the college level. And despite everything going, I think it was like 14-0, then stuff happened. Just the wheels came off, and Grambling was traveling on that interstate and got a flat tire, only to realize it was a broken transmission. It ran out of fluid. It just all went down the hill. We had an interesting ending, and it just resulted in a fumble. And people are still scratching their heads. No timeouts, less than a minute left. Why are you running the ball? Was that supposed to be an RPO? Was that supposed to be a planned run? But what were you doing? So, someone wanted to know what was Mickey Joseph's future at Grambling. From all indications, from all of the folks that I've talked to, which the whole people, for whatever reason, weren't talking. But I have it on pretty good authority. Mickey Joseph isn't going anywhere. Now, I told you he had incentives. And as I understand it, the incentive is, had Grambling won this game, they would have finished the season at 8-4, and 8 games would have automatically given him a contract extension. Automatically. So as it appears right now, from what I'm being told, is there aren't going to be any coaching changes. At least that's the impression that I've gotten. Anything can happen, of course. And but I will say this. It's a good thing that it's a good thing that we didn't come online or do a show after the fact. Because when I tell you, your brother was in his emotional feelings. And I pride myself on being I pride myself on being a level-headed guy. I don't let the emotions typically get it, but I'm just like, man, come on. I would just simply say this to Mickey Joseph. If nothing else, brother, get an offensive coordinator. Please.
Hey, that's what Girl Dad 8872 just said.
Exactly. Please hire an offensive coordinator. Nobody's questioning your football acumen. And I understand that we're just folks who are just looking from the sidelines. But damn it, we know, but at least many of us know bad offensive play calling when we see it. And damn it, that was some bad offensive play calling. I can't put it any other way. It was, in the words of Mickey Joseph, disrespectful. And you got to treat disrespect with disrespect. So I don't mean any disrespect, but because that play calling was disrespectful, I'm saying you got to go out and find an offense coordinator, man. Do you guys know we actually won games this year? If I'm not mistaken, someone there was maybe a game or two. I think it may have been against A&M or not. Well, we actually won a game without scoring an offensive touchdown. That's just how inept this offense has been. Now, granted, I get it. We have had a lot of coaching changes, and I'm not taking that away. I mean, quarterback changes. You're down to QB4. And there is something commendable about being able to win the games, at least the games that you're supposed to win, to get to the point to where you're in the program or the team is actually, had its first winning season since, I believe, 2019. And you're down to QB4. And you were actually able to win games with QB4. But still, you go into a game against a team that's 1-10, playing with an interim coach, and you can't get the job done. There's something to be said about that. So before I get mad all over again, I would love to get input from Chris Stevens and Jared Hoffman, and I'll even address some of the comments in the chat. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts about Bayou Classic?
Well, that sets the stage for a lot. I'll say this. Southern, even though this is, this might be a sore subject for Ken, I think they deserve a lot of credit for showing up, because this has been the worst Southern team that anyone has seen since the early days of Stump Mitchell. And you can't utter that name around anybody in Baton Rouge without getting swung on. That's how bad this Southern football team has been this year. But for some strange reason,
hey, I had a conversation with an individual who will remain nameless who mentioned Stump Mitchell, and I was like, Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, man, that name is as good as mud in Baton Rouge. However, these guys showed up. When everyone, I mean, it's the Bayou Classic. I mean, everybody's going to be amped up for it. Everybody's going to be excited. Everybody wants to, play in it. And I mean, Ken, this is going to be a sore subject, but
hey, man, talk it. It's okay.
this group of Southern seniors had never lost a Bayou Classic coming into Saturday. So they were like, if we can't do nothing else right this year, and we done a lot wrong, like we almost blew our first game to Valley. We gave away leads to Florida A&M. We absolutely got pile driven by Jackson State. The least we could do is win the Bayou Classic. And that's exactly what Southern did. Credit to them for showing up. Credit to Fred McNair for still giving a damn, by the way. Because if I knew that this is the second time that I've been scooped on a job by a former NFL player, somebody else would have been coaching that game on Saturday. I ain't gonna lie to you. You telling me that Chris Dishman was a better coach than me? I ain't buying it. You gonna tell me that Marshall Falk is a better coach than me? I ain't buying it. Y'all can get somebody else to coach this wreck on Saturday. But no, Fred McNair, with his endless supply of gum, was on the sideline chewing and chilling. And when Ashton Strother got rocked out of bounds, that Southern team said, "Oh no, we can't have this. You know, you just assaulted our," as Lynn Thompson of the MEAC likes to say, trigger man. You assaulted our trigger man. We on your head now. And Southern went ahead, finished the job, and now they have something to be proud of as they try to figure out what the heck they're going to look like under Marshall Falk. But yes, credit to Southern for showing up. As far as Grambling, I still say, I'm not a Grambling guy. I mean, I don't know the inner workings of the university, but I can tell you this. I would have a lot of questions about the what's the word I'm looking for here?
About what?
I would have a lot of questions about my head coach with respect to the play calling, his aptitude, because what was that? What was that? I was like, what? What are you doing? And it's like, I mean, yeah, this is the first time Graham's had a winning season in 6 years, but and then you just have to look at everything that has gone on. I mean, there's the legendary, I thought I saw some BS calls and I can pay the fine scenario. And then there's disrespect with disrespect. And then there's the, cooler heads prevail, whatever that ridiculous quote was that sounded like he borrowed that from, Les Brown or somebody. But it's like, there's something about the way Mickey Joseph has conducted himself that I think Eddie Robinson would not be happy about. And I'm just like, there's just something that I would just, if I'm the president of the university, if I'm the AD, I'm like, do I really want this Bama in charge of my football program? That's just me. I mean, I can only speak for Chris Stevens' point of view. Jarrett might have a different point of view. Ken probably has a different point of view. But if I were the president of Grambling, or if I were Travion Scott, the AD, I'd be like, do I really want this joker in charge of my football program? That's a question I would have to ask for at least 2 weeks at a time. But that's overall credit to Southern for showing up. Grambling, you got some work to do.
So my man Israel Carey says, you beat the best, then lose to the worst. Correction, we didn't play Alabama State this year.
Ooh, shots fired.
We didn't play Alabama State this year. Okay. Jared, your comment, your thoughts.
Cooler heads prevail, and calm is a superpower.
So absurd.
He did say that.
So absurd.
Yo, whoever wrote that statement is the worst. Because why would you make that man say that? Oh my God! All right. What did we say about Florida A&M going into the Florida Classic? It's been a horrible season. You can't lose to your rival. You can't lose that game. Grambling is the exact opposite. You've been having a great season. It's just unlucky that you weren't able to win the West. You still got the Bayou Classic against the team who is having their worst season in well over a decade. Oh.
Oh, wait a minute.
Super chat.
Lord, hey, brother, hey. Shame. You know what? You paid the price. I gotta let you get away with that one. But I still do appreciate your support, okay?
Oh, man.
Hey, look, if anybody want to get 50 for 5 losses, that'd be great.
Hey, hello.
Or 500 for 5 losses, that'd be great.
Or we can get 5 or try 5 super chats for 5 losses.
Oh, but I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much for your support. 5.
But anyway,
5
like
losses.
you can, through everything that you've been through the season, whether it's good or bad, you cannot lose the rivalry game.
Yeah.
You can't lose the Florida Classic. You can't lose the Bayou Classic. You can't lose the Magic City Classic. You can't lose those games. Those are the upper echelon of HBCU rivalries. And we're talking about 2 teams that one is here and the other you can't even see. And that's how bad they've been this season. It's been so bad, a dumpster fire would also almost be a compliment. That's how bad Southern has been this season. And you let that team take bragging rights from you when you already had lost 3 straight to that team. And you've now lost 7 of your last 8 against them. The last time you beat them, Hugh Jackson was the head coach.
Ooh.
Yikes.
Since Mickey Joseph has been your head coach, you have not won a Bayou Classic when you've actually gotten better with Mickey Joseph as your head coach, arguably. So that's the only thing I'll say is that you can't lose that game. And now it'll force yourself to look in the mirror and say, how close are we actually to be contenders?
Soldier rat.
Man, y'all killing me with these comments. Ooh.
Them rattlers.
In case y'all didn't know, man, Christmas be Halloween again. Oh, okay.
Hashtag Team Tiffany for life.
Okay. So now that that's in the past, but Coach Joseph, please get an offensive coordinator. I know things didn't necessarily work when Eric Dooley was there, and you didn't necessarily take the steps to get somebody else. I forgot it was you and someone else who were calling plays, but brother, just please get another offensive coordinator, please. Okay. All right. The moment that everybody's been waiting for. It is no surprise that Jackson State is representing the East. I think we can all agree with that. And I'm pretty certain that there are a number of individuals who are like really surprised that Prairie View is making this game. Well, and I shouldn't say they're surprised. It's just that it's not because Prairie View's been in some SWAC Championship games before, but it's not every day that you just, Prairie View in the past, there's been some times they kind of got through the back door and so forth. They weren't dominant. This is, for all intents and purposes, this is a Prairie View team that's kind of been dominant in the year that Tremaine Jackson has taken over. Now, I think Chris Stevens will agree with me. Oh, that was me and Kendrick, right? When we interviewed Tremaine Jackson.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That was you and Kendrick.
And I'm here to tell you, a lot of people didn't necessarily think thought Coach Jackson was just talking. And when in the time that I spoke with him, I saw, I thought I was talking to a person who wasn't, look, that man meant every word he said when he talked about turning that program around, what it was going to take, and how he viewed his opponents. And, basically we get midway through the season and he's still talking his stuff. And as he gets further into the second half of the season, he's really talking his stuff. He's even singing in practice. And basically we got this. So, and we will make predictions, but I will just simply say, I am not surprised by the season that Prairie View has had when I had an opportunity. And again, in talking to Coach Jackson, I didn't get the sense that he was just someone who was just talking. And I guess a lot of it was due to the fact that all you had to do was just look at the body of work that he had done, his body of work before he got to Prairie View. We saw what he did at Valdosta State, and we saw what he did, I think, Colorado Mesa. He had winning seasons every year that he coached at those schools, and this is no different. So what are we to make of this matchup between Prairie View and Jackson State, which, by the way, will be on ESPN2, if I'm not mistaken, on tomorrow? Anyone feel free to chime in.
As the late Cy Young award-winning pitcher Dizzy Dean once said, it ain't bragging if you back it up. And Jermaine Jackson has backed it up to the tune of 9 wins, the most that Prairie View has had since the first year of the presidency of one Barack Hussein Obama, 2009. So he didn't just, I mean, this wasn't just a dude coming in. This isn't an Emperor's New Clothes situation. I mean, Jermaine Jackson has the background. He has the credentials. Come on. Soldier Rack, he's killing me today. But yeah, this is a dude who's won. He's won, and he hasn't just won in different colleges. He's won in different regions.
Yes.
Colorado, different brand of football.
Yep.
Georgia, different brand of football. Texas, football might as well be religion instead of Christianity.
Yep.
And he's won every single place. And you can't, I mean, you can call it luck, you can call it what you want, but you can't argue with the facts. Prairie View was the best team in the SWAC West from beginning to end this year. And I don't think that he's going to back down because the gold standard of the modern SWAC is standing on the other side of the field. Granted, I even though J State's folks can be a little what's the word I'm looking for here? Abrasive. I'm not going to take anything away from the fact that they have a wonderful football program. But Jermaine Jackson, as Richard Pryor once said about Jim Brown, he don't know nothing about the back down. Jermaine Jackson don't know nothing about the back down. So
that's right.
I'm very interested to see how that Prairie View team comes out at Mississippi Veterans Memorial Coliseum, where there's going to be about a good 50, 60,000 people there. I think there's going to be more than 12 PV fans there, but I'm really interested to see how Prairie View, approaches this and, what this looks like for these guys. But yeah, Jermaine Jackson, he's the real deal. He hasn't disappointed Prairie View yet. And I don't know if he's going to disappoint them this Saturday either.
Jarrett.
I think this is interesting. It's interesting because Jackson State is known for its offensive weapons. We know about Nate Rembert. We know about Ahmad Miller. We know about Travis Terrell Jr. We know about the receiving core of Jackson State. And we know that when they have Jacoby and Morgan in that lineup, it's virtually unstoppable. But Prairie View has an underrated offense. They have a guy who was the co-SWAC Freshman of the Year. By the way, that was a weird announcement about it being co-winners. But but Chase Bingman has had a stellar freshman season. Cameron Peters, is it Cameron Peters or is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I was just making sure I said the right first name. So Cameron Peters, quarterback for Prairie View, has had an underrated season. So I think this has the makings of an underrated classic, but I know a lot of people are going to write off Prairie View because we came into the season saying the team that wins the East is going to win the SWAC, and I have a hard time going against that. But I really think that Jermaine Jackson is a guy that wins big games. He wins a lot of big games. He gets teams to these big games, and he is unsuccessful seldom. So I think that this has the makings of a shootout or a better game that we may expect it being.
You think this possibly be a shootout?
I think it could be a much better game than we would have anticipated before the season.
Because there's a part of me that thinks it could be a defensive battle.
Yeah, that's possible. That's possible as well.
And you said PV's offense is underrated. I think PV's defense is underrated too. But I'm sorry. Go ahead and finish your point.
No, that was it.
Okay.
I just think that this has the makings of a great game, a much better game than people may expect.
Prediction. Chris, let me just say, Chris, you and I had it. We talked about this before we went live.
Yeah.
And I told you who I was going to go with, but now I'm telling you, man, I may change it, but go ahead. I'm going to save mine for last. Who you got?
I'm not betting against Tremaine Jackson. I'm not. I can't do it in good conscience because and let me find this comment real quick so we can talk about this. Can you talk like a person who was born before 1995, please? We don't use those terms on this podcast.
This was the same glaze y'all gave.
You really aging yourself by saying glaze. Come on now.
Yeah, just stick to doing the YSL dances or whatever. We don't use that. We don't use that kind of language around here. That being said, I'm not going to bet against Tremaine Jackson. I can't. Like I said, Jackson State is a great program. Yep. But everything about what Prairie View has accomplished this year says that this team just keeps rolling into Atlanta. So it's going to be close, but I've got Prairie View 28-24.
Jarrett?
Man, I really think this is going to be a much better game than people think. There's a couple of factors that I think could go either way, but ultimately I feel like whoever scores the most points is going to
Don't you dare. Dog, you have to do better. You got away with that last time. You cannot do that this time. You can't. Come on, Jared.
I said whoever wins the East is going to win the SWAC, and I'm not going away from that. So I got Jackson State winning.
You got Jackson State. You got a score?
I'll go 27-20.
Jackson State.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a part of me that is like really hesitant to make a prediction on this because Lord knows Kendrick could take this and he'll post it on social media. He does it to me all the time. He did it with Bayou Classic. He did it the last time I picked Alabama State over Jackson State. This is what he does. And the more I think about this, now let's analyze this for a moment. Prairie View comes in with Tremaine Jackson, and I interviewed him, man, and I knowing what this man has done at the programs that he's coached previously before getting to PV. There is a part of me that says it's been a hell of a run with Prairie View. And I'll just be honest with you. I expected PV to do better than last year. I thought this would be a winning program, but I didn't necessarily think it would equate to the possibility of winning a SWAC championship. I just thought it would be, hey, PV is coming around. PV is making moves, but nah, PV won the West. Say what you will about the teams in the West, but PV, with expectations being what they are, PV won the games that they were supposed to win, period. All right. And then there's a part of me that thinks, it's been a great run, but now here you are at that moment to where you can bring home a SWAC championship and earn a berth to go to the Celebration Bowl, but that Cinderella run is going to come to an end. There's part of me that thinks that. Because then I look at Jackson State, who has, I think it's safe to say, been there, done that. Playing in Jackson, in front of a crowd that, they can be hostile. And, the tide has turned, especially over the last 4 years. And a lot of those players who were there, man, this is the moment that they expect. They've got lofty expectations at Jackson State. Now, as for a winner, I think the final score, seriously, 28-24. Prairie View.
Mm-hmm. We got the same score.
I can't, and I maybe I'm putting too much emphasis on the job that Jackson has done, but there's just a part of me that says he refuses to be denied. I think Prairie View wins this game on tomorrow, and they will make their first trip to the Celebration Bowl in Atlanta to face Shinnis and company. And, you know, we don't know how that's going to turn out. But I go with Prairie View 28-24. All right. So, as I told you guys before we go to, we have one more topic we're going to discuss. And then there's going to be a number of things that we didn't necessarily get a chance to address because we thought we were going to have Broderick Fobbs. And just so you guys know, those of you who came on expecting to see him, unfortunately, he could not. Something came up at the last minute. He couldn't make it, but he is going to reschedule. I just feel the need to say that again because there are probably a number of you who were saying, hey, am I too late? Or has he come on yet? He will not be on this show. He will reschedule. And at that time, we'll discuss, you know, interview him at another day. Okay. So we figured, okay, so what would we do in the meantime? And we realized that there were still some topics that we probably would have taken the time to discuss, but now we're going to go ahead. And the one question that has been kind of like the thing that's gone on all season long is about the SWAC and its current divisional format, where we got the SWAC West and the SWAC East. And there have been a number of fans who've indicated that maybe we need to do away with it because, you know, if you look at a lot of the other conferences, whether it be, well, especially at Division I level at the FBS, those that did have the divisional formats, they've done away with them. You know, the SEC, I think had the SEC West and the SEC, was it East and West or North or South, whatever. They had a divisional format. The Big Ten had a divisional format. A number of other Group of Five conferences, they've all done away with them now. And so I wish I'd have had the audio, but that question was asked to SWAC Commissioner Charles McClellan about the possibility of the SWAC doing away with its divisional format and going to a format in which the teams that would participate in the SWAC championship games would basically be the first and second best teams per se. And dang it, I wish I had the audio. But that question was addressed to him on Monday. And I'm paraphrasing here. And I think he said that he's open to it if that's what the rest of the membership wants. If that's what the other schools and the SWAC, the presidents are willing to do, he, I guess, is willing to do it. And I guess but what I appreciate, what I appreciate about his response was he addressed the pros and cons associated with either sticking with the format, the current divisional format, versus doing away with it and just kind of going with the best teams. And as I understood him correctly, the problem with going to just choosing the top two teams in the conference, which had they done away with it this year, I think it's safe to say, would it have been, well, it would have been Jackson State and Alabama State, right? Because Alabama State did beat PV. I think can we agree?
That's Fairview's only SWAC loss.
That's okay. So had they done away with the divisional format this year, the SWAC championship game would feature Jackson State and Alabama State. But according to Charles McClellan, he says that the problem with that is because with the SEC and the Big Ten and a lot of these schools, they're so bloated now with teams, and even with the SWAC in its divisional format, all teams aren't going to be able to face against each other during the course of the year. They're going to still be those non-conference games and so forth. And so then you've got issues to where, let's just say you got two teams or you know, and you go through the slate of games, all teams aren't going to be able to play against each other. And there is something to be said about maybe one team's overall conference schedule being a little bit more difficult than another team's overall conference schedule. And he goes, and for him, the last thing that he wants to do is to be in a position to where he may have, I don't know, maybe 3, possibly even 4 teams with the same record. And he has to use some sort of a third-party metric or some sort of a third-party tool to determine who those top 2 teams are going to be to participate in the game. Whereas with the current divisional format, where you got SWAC West and the SWAC East, in the case of Prairie View and Jackson State, while they may not have necessarily played all of the SWAC teams within the conference, at the very least, Prairie View played all of the teams in the SWAC West. Jackson State played all of the teams in the SWAC East, and that, for the most part, kind of eliminates, it kind of determines who a so-called clear-cut favorite would be. And then, of course, when you put in a situation, those interdivisional games in which, say, Jackson State and Grambling or Prairie View and Alabama State play, then you can use some sort of an actual tie-breaking formula instead of some statistical rating system to determine who those winners are going to be. So that is kind of like the breakdown that he mentioned, and I'd like to know what you guys' format are. Your opinions are about them removing the divisional format, because it appears to be a really interesting discussion that a lot of people are for. But I appreciate him taking the time to address it, because it makes a lot of sense to me. So what are your thoughts?
I want to get to this comment by Emmett Jones. He said, I think the president of HBCU Go prefers a playoff for the Celebration Bowl.
The president of HBCU Go?
I mean, I guess he means...
I think the president prefers a playoff for the Celebration Bowl game.
Wait,
does
that mean is he saying that the HBCU Go president would prefer a FCS playoffs over the Celebration Bowl? Or
I don't know.
I think he means the HBCU playoff.
No, this doesn't remove the Celebration Bowl game. I mean, this has nothing to do. This is about the SWAC Championship Game.
Yeah, but I think he's saying what I think he's saying is he wants an HBCU playoff system. That's what he's saying. That's what he thinks. Like, HBCU. Here's my thing about that: the president of HBCU Go, with all due respect, ain't the same as the president of ESPN or the NCAA for that matter.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when his pockets start talking like their pockets start talking, cool. But I just can't see that happening. But that being said, it would be really tough to keep Prairie View out of the championship game this year, because Alabama State, had a better record. I mean, and I get it. Alabama State was the only team in the SWAC to beat Prairie View this year. But I can tell you now that Eddie Robinson, I don't know how he feels about it, but I think there's a competitive spirit in him that says, we lost to Jackson State. They the better team this year, so be it. Deep down, I know that's probably what his thought process is. So as far as, split, going away from divisions, I don't see how that helps the SWAC. And granted, I'm a person who said that I wish we could move the FCS playoffs back so we could get more SWAC teams in if they wanted to be there. But I think the divisional format for the SWAC is fine as is. I do. Because you still, again, Jackson State beat everybody in their division. Prairie View beat everybody in their division.
Yep.
If you're going to call yourself a division champion, you need to beat at least the majority of the teams in your division. And that's what Jackson State has done. That's what Prairie View has done. They've earned the right to be there. I guess people are going to, I guess people are sympathetic to Bama State's plight because they have been knocking on the door for so long. They had a really good chance last year, but Andrew Body got hurt the first game of the season, and that was it. Yeah. So now that you've had, and then Andrew Body got hurt again this year, but still they had a talented enough team to win 10 games. But still, you couldn't win the game. They didn't win the game they needed to win. That was the game they needed to win, had to win. And they fell short by 2 yards. No shame in it. No shame in it. But fact of the matter is, Jackson State finished 5-0 in the SWAC East. Prairie View finished 4-0 in the SWAC West. The two shall meet in Jackson on Saturday. And that's how
and I was going to say, and for what it's worth, I find it intriguing because the teams didn't play during the regular season.
Nope. And here's in M Ford with one of my favorite quotes from one of the greatest wrestlers ever, Ric Flair.
To beat a man, you got to beat the man.
Woo! And sorry, I just had to get that out there. But yes, this is the truth. Until somebody beats Jackson State, Jackson State's the man.
Well, if that's the case, we're the man.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Grambling did beat Jackson State this year.
I couldn't resist. Anyway, no. Come on, Jared. Come on.
Jared is so fed up.
You know what we mean by the man. They the two-time they the defending champions. You know what we mean.
Your thoughts, man, about this divisional format?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Mm.
What the SWAC doing isn't broken, so why fix it? The CIAA, it was a problem between the North and the South.
Right.
The South
Yeah.
didn't. The South didn't win a conference championship for outside of that Fayetteville State one in 2022. The North was sweeping those. It was guaranteed to be a North team once Winston-Salem State run ended. From 2017 onwards, all but one of the CIAA championships went to the North. And Fayetteville State was in all of those. From 2017 to 2023, before they went away from division format in the CIAA, Fayetteville State was in every single one of those CIAA championships and lost all but one of them. That needed to change. There was no, and mind you, most of those games weren't competitive. The only game that was competitive was the one that Fayetteville State won. That needed to change. The games weren't exciting anymore. And that's when the games were in Salem, when it was cold for absolutely no reason at those games. So you were sitting in there freezing your butt off to watch a game that wasn't interesting. That needed to change. The SIAC, the championship games were barely interesting when they went away from the division format afterwards. That's how bad it was in the SIAC. Now we finally got two teams that match up with each other well, Albany State and Benedict, and you get an exciting game. So there's progress there. The SWAC don't need to change nothing, because even when their games aren't exciting, they still make money.
Yeah.
So what is the need for to change? I don't see a need for it. I saw a need in the CIAA and the SIAC. I don't see it in the SWAC.
I think a lot of it may be due to the fact that because, and I get it, you see what other conferences are doing and you maybe mirror or monitor them because you kind of see what the long-term benefit might be. I get that. And like I said, I think maybe the question came up because now we've gotten to the point to where, other conferences remove the division. So I guess there are just people in general who says, well, you know what, we need to move it too. But keep in mind, the reason why a lot of these Division I conferences removed the divisional format is because they kept the championship game, but now that they got the college football playoff, I guess they figured the divisional format just wasn't really necessary. I don't know what their reasons were, but I am kind of in favor of what you guys say. The last thing you would need is to put a situation to where you've got a conference like the SWAC without a divisional format, and now you've got a log jam of teams at the top of the slate, and now you got to use some kind of a metric to determine who plays who. In some cases that didn't face each other, and you got to rely upon some systems, and and somebody's going to cry foul if that happens, as opposed to the current format, to where, like I said, all of the teams in the West play each other, all of the teams in the East play each other. And then you've got those equal number of the interdivisional games that pretty much makes it kind of simple, so that when situations come up and you've got a tiebreaker in place, you don't have to rely upon third-party statistical services. You can just simply use the tie-breaking rule that's probably that's already published, and you could go from there. So, final thoughts on this, and there's one other subject we'll bring up, and I know Chris was pretty adamant, and let me
address this comment real quick off the beat. This is my quick little off topic. Actually, I was a Ric Flair fan when he beat Terry Funk in an I Quit match in 1989. I was 7 years old, so yes, I've been a Ric Flair fan. But thank you.
Okay. What's that?
I just want to address this comment real quick.
Okay.
Can we stop acting like there's a conspiracy theory against your fan base?
Oh, wow.
This is my pet peeve with HBCU fan bases. Whenever there's a discussion, y'all make it seem like everybody is against you. The SWAC West has lost the last 7 SWAC championships. That's why we're talking about canceling divisions. It's not because your team winning. Shut up. What are you talking about? Nobody cares. What are you talking about? Nobody is against you.
Hey, I told you. And I'll just
everybody's against FAMU. They hate that we
look,
brag.
that's-
Nobody
that's-
cares.
that's
Nobody
that
told you.
that's go ahead. That's that victim mentality I was telling y'all. For whatever reason, man, people love being the victim about something. Not understanding that nobody gives a damn about your problems.
Do you
Because
really
it's bigger than
think
you.
that oh my God, this is so annoying.
That's the victim. Look, I'm telling you, man, people love that playing that being the victim of something. And you know, but look, let's talk about this real quick because I know Chris was adamant about this. Let me see if I can bring this up. And this will be our last topic of the day. We need to talk about the SWAC and ESPN. Let me get this off. We need to talk about SWAC TV and the success that it obviously had during the course of the season when it was first, since it was first introduced. And I think it was last week before the Bayou Classic, Charles McClellan met with the Southern University Board of Directors or Regents or whatever they are, supervisors or whatever they are. I say that respectfully. I don't know what the formal term is. But according to him, you know, it actually did better than ESPN. And I don't know if some people had a problem with that, but for whatever reason, it did turn some heads. And I find it amazing. And the reason why I said this because I don't know if you guys remember people were making an argument way back before SWAC TV even became a thing. They were saying, man, the SWAC need to be proactive and we need to go ahead and get some deals with so-and-so and we need to talk to ESPN and give us some more money because, you know, we got to show what we worth. I mean, and so what happens? They do that. And now it's a problem for some of you and I don't understand why. The man just said that they're about $15 million distribution. The largest of any FCS conference. And knowing Charles McClellan like I know, and he will gladly tell you, and it's even more than some of the distributions of some of the FBS conferences. Sunbelt, do you hear me? So I'm just saying. What are you guys' thoughts about what McClellan announced? Because for whatever reason, just based upon some of the comments that I've read out in the social media space, for whatever reason, they got a problem with this.
Charles McClellan is the most important person in Black college sports right now.
Ooh. And
it's not even close. He is showing everyone how to lead. Because this is a man, I mean, think about this. He sits on the NCAA basketball committee. Like he's not just in the room. Like he ain't passing out coffee and donuts. He's a decision maker in that room, and he manages to run the best run FCS conference, and probably would give an FBS conference a run for their money, and how well the SWAC is run. So I think he's the most important person in Black college sports right now, without any shadow of a doubt. He is showing everyone else how you lead, how you get your universities to buy into what you're trying to do, how you evolve, how you innovate, how you change the game. I mean, because granted, and yes, Chanel did have a point. There were there were a few glitches. I'll never forget when I was doing I did the Labor Day Classic for us. I was trying to watch the game, and the game just kept fading in and out. I was like, "What the heck is going on here?" But as the season went on, they got SWAC TV, the product got so much better. And I don't understand what the problem is in a world where we can't afford all of these streaming services and accessibility matters. That SWAC TV is free. Black people, we ain't never complained about nothing free a day in our lives until SWAC TV. People were like using that as like a naysayer, like, oh, the only reason it's more than ESPN, more people view ESPN because it's free. That's the point. That's the point. Yeah. Not every one of us is supposed to pay $15 to $30 just to watch our schools on ESPN Plus. That's not what we want. So as long as SWAC TV is free, you better enjoy it. And you know, if you that upset about it, then donate to make the product better. But as far as, you know, the actual product itself, like I said, they got the presentation, the broadcast got so much better as football season got along. So Charles McClellan, to me, again, is the most important person in Black college sports because he is showing everyone else how you lead, how you innovate, how you develop, how you direct, how you do it all. And hopefully at some point, my conference, the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, figure something out in that same vein. Because I'm tired of paying ESPN $12 to watch Delaware State football.
I want to address this. D Black says, shout out to SWAC TV. But can we get some more commercials? Tired of seeing that man do his sassy shoulder dance. I know exactly. I think that's a Cricket Wireless commercial she's talking about because I know I see it all the time. But D, and I don't know this. This is just me. This is just conjecture and speculation at this point. I am assuming. Now, again, that's Cricket Wireless. Cricket Wireless has been a partner of the SWAC for a while now, at least 2-3 years. And I think are they the title sponsor of the? I think they're the title sponsor for the championship game. But anyway, I know Cricket Wireless has been affiliated, has had a partnership with the SWAC for a while. But I think to D's point with respect to, I guess, those constant commercials, I think that's why this particular announcement makes it even more a part of the bigger picture. Because now McClellan can take these numbers and the data to make a case for why more advertisers should be a part of this network. Because I can assure you, and I'm just going to keep it real. If SWAC TV was pay TV, you know, if you had to pay a small fee, despite it being $5, $7, there's a part of me, I could be wrong. There's a part of me that thinks many of you wouldn't have paid it. You know, I just put it like this. Isn't Tubi free?
It is.
And how do you think Tubi makes its money?
Through ads.
And they use the data from the people who watch it and the downloads, and they leverage that to get advertisers to buy ad space. This is no different. So as we progress, now we're going into basketball season and so forth, and there are going to be games. I mean, you know, I was watching SWAC TV and, you know, was looking at the SWAC soccer championship. I'm just simply saying, man, it's got its own. I mean, every network out there has its own network. The SEC, obviously, with partnership with ESPN, they've got that. The Big Ten, I guess, in partnership with Fox, they've got the Big Ten network, TV network. They've all got networks. And this is no different. You know, this is just simply the Tubi model, but it's SWAC TV, in which, yeah, the app is down, you know, download the app for free, or you can go online and watch it for free and watch it. We want you to watch it, but we're going to take that data and we're going to let advertisers know, hey, this is how many people are watching our show. And we have multiple, games being played week in and week out, and then available for replay during the course of the week and possibly during the course of the season. This is potentially how much, you know, your brand can be exposed in front of a diverse audience. I mean, it ain't hard to figure it out. But it just blows my mind that despite the numbers being there and we see what's being happened, and yes, the technology has improved, and, you know, because I ain't gonna lie, there have been some moments, oh my God, damn it, it freezes or pauses, and, you know, I'm like, okay, sometimes it ain't even the networks. I'm just keeping it honest with you. You know, sometimes it's stadium internet.
Yeah.
It's believe me. Stadium, it's infrastructure of the location in which they're actually doing the games from. A lot of that plays into it. But for the most part, SWAC TV has been successful. And many of you have asked for this in some capacity. And now that you've gotten it, I just find it amazing that some still find a way to complain, and when you really don't need to. Jerry hadn't really given you a chance to comment. So let me get your thoughts before we get out of here.
These are my thoughts.
Agreed. Keep SWAC TV supported.
That's it. You support it, they'll be able to get ad revenue. Then they'll be able to fix the technological issues that they have in these places. Maybe they won't be able to fix it, but they'll be able to afford the equipment that best allows them to cover these games. Just support it.
Yep.
Support it, and it will be fixed. That's it. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Let me see. Oh, now you show up. Where were you earlier?
Woodbury.
Yeah, well, we were talking about Tory. Where were you earlier? Anyway, Chris, go ahead and do that thing that you do, brother.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for watching this edition of SWAC. Well, it is the SWAC page, but it's also HBC Sports Live as well. We thank y'all for tuning in, regardless of which show this is. Be sure to follow us on all manners of social media. We are on the Musty app. That's Twitter, TikTok, Threads, Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, all of those places. Search for HBCU Sports. Become a level 1 or level 2 member of this channel with a subscription for the neat and tidy sum of $4.99 a month. You can get all the Black College sports that's fit to print and broadcast as we like to give it to you. If you would like to donate, we have various ways to donate. We have Cash App. Just go to the Cash App app. I didn't mean to double down on that, but you get the picture. Go to Cash App, $ HBCU Sports. Or if you want to go to Zelle, Zelle, donate HBCUsports.com. Type that in, drop your coins there. We also have a website, hbcusports.com/donate. You can donate there. And don't forget, it's Christmas time. Think about the HBCU alum in your life who needs some gifts. Somebody might need to let go of that old dusty ass coffee cup that has, a crack in the handle that might, have some bleach stains on the other side of it. Get them an HBCU Sports coffee mug. Or if you're tired of your spouse walking around with that tired old raggedy shirt that is just falling apart at the seams. They call it the cooking shirt. They call it the cleaning shirt. You just tired of looking at it. Send them something from the HBCU Sports Store. We got t-shirts. We got everything that you guys need. And as long as you guys continue to donate and help, we can keep this operation going. So we thank you guys for watching. We greatly appreciate y'all. And let's enjoy some football this weekend.
And we gone.